Hey, fifth graders. Today I am going to teach you my first online art lesson, and it is on Schoology, some information and materials that you're going to need to go along with it. But I wanted to give you a step-by-step tutorial so it's easier for you to follow along and so you know exactly what steps to do. So the first thing you are going to do is get out a piece of white paper that was sent home to you from the material pickup. It was rolled up like this with some sheets of colored construction paper. And you can choose whether or not you want to have it this way or if you want it up and down. It really doesn't matter. I think I will do it the long way today. And you are going to choose a block letter. So you might want to do the first letter of your first name, or you could do the first letter of your last name. Up to you. I did, in my example, I did the letter K for my last name. And there is a document on Schoology that says how to draw block letters. So you can open that up. Every letter of the alphabet's on there. And if you're not sure how to make a block letter, you can look on there. If you have your own way of making a block letter or a bubble letter, you can absolutely do that. So today I'm going to do the letter S. It'll be upside down to you, but just make the letter and then make it into a block letter. And then you are going to decide which colors you want to use. Really, you can choose any colors you want. You're going to need two colors, so pick whatever color you want for the first one. It could even be a black Sharpie if you want. And the second color is going to be a contrasting color, which means it's going to be opposite of that color on the color wheel. If you use black, black is not on the color wheel, so you could use any color with that. If you use green, then the complementary color would be red, because it's straight across from each other on the color wheel. Any combination of complementary colors you want, you can choose. So if you have markers at home, markers will work wonderfully. You can also use crayons, colored pencils, oil pastels. But I am going to use a marker right now to trace over the line of my bubble letter, because I really want you to be able to see it. So I'm going to use this green to trace over the top. And the next direction is to erase any stray pencil lines. So after your marker's dried, it won't take very long for the marker to dry, but then just get rid of your pencil marks. It'll look cleaner and neater when it's finished if you get rid of the pencil lines. And then what you're going to do is the directions say to make a dot somewhere on your piece of paper with the block letter. I've tried doing it where I make a dot that is off center, like starting over here, but it's easier if you kind of make your dot in the center of the paper. So there's my dot in the center of the paper. And from this dot, I'm going to make an even number of lines going all the way out to the edge of the paper. So if you have a ruler, that is one option that will help you make a straight line. If you don't have a ruler, just use something with a straight edge, like this book will work just fine. So you take one edge of your straight edge and line it up right on your dot. Here's my dot, line it up, and make sure that it's going off to the edge of the paper. Make your first line. Then you're going to pivot your straight edge around your paper. The sections that you make can be different in size. So from here to here, this is obviously a much wider section than here to here. That's okay if you want to do that. Maybe you want to make them all evenly spaced apart. That's another option. So just keep pivoting your way around here. The only thing you have to move is your piece of paper on the table. And everything is coming off of that center point. See how I'm just moving the paper on the top of the table. All right, I've got it pretty much filled up all the way. Now I'm just going to count and make sure I have an even number of lines. So I'll put my finger here so I know where I started. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is an even number. So I can leave it the way it is. If I want to add more lines, I can. It just has to be an even number. So let's say I want to add a few more sections. I have 8, 9, and this one's a little wide. I'll do another one here. 10. 10 sections. You could have 12, 8, 14, totally up to you, as long as it's an even number. All right, next step. You are going to color you're going to color every other shape around outside of the letter. Outside of the letter. So that means I have to be really careful that I'm not coloring anything inside of this green letter. Only outside of it. You can use marker to do this. You can use crayon, oil pastel. Up to you, whatever material you have available to you. Something that you might find helpful, because it gets a little more challenging the farther you get into this project. And the reason it becomes challenging is because you see you have more and more sections, and it's kind of easy to confuse like what color you should make each section. So if I wanted to, I could make a G here. That will remind me this section is green. Skip a space, G. Skip a space, G. Skip a space, G. Skip a space, G. Skip a space. So now that'll be perfect. Every other section will be green. So you can go ahead and get that colored in. And in part 2, I'm going to tell you how to continue on with this lesson.